So today what we're going to do is look at the most common preposition errors that are made and how we can avoid making it. And when it is made, how we can identify and correct it. Okay, so let's start off with have versus of. So you may see something like this. I should have come over. Now, although it sounds correct, it sounds like what we always say when we speak, it's actually not proper English. It's actually an incorrect use of our preposition of. Instead, we should substitute of with have. Right? Why are we doing this? Should is a modal. And we know a modal is a type of helping verb. Right? So if we have a helping verb like should, we can't help a preposition. Yeah? We should have a main verb. It only makes sense. Yeah? If you have a helping verb, the purpose of the helping verb is to help the main verb. So instead of, you will substitute and say have. So that's a nice tip to keep in mind. If you see something that looks like this, I should have, or I could have, think about Miss Ali and think about what she said about should and could being modals, and that it should also always be followed by a main verb. Okay, so another thing that is often confused are two prepositions, in and into. Oh my gosh, why does my close quotation mark look so weird? But yeah, in and into. So when we are expressing motion towards something, we use into. But if we're looking at a location, you want to indicate a location, we use in. Right? So I swam in the lake, not into the lake. Because that is, if we say I swam into the lake, it's implying that you're not already in the lake, right? But if you say I swam in the lake, it tells you the location, right? So for those of you asking, the heading for today's lesson is common errors in prepositions, right? We want to look at all of the errors that are commonly made, and we want to make sure that we never make them. And when we find them in the grammar section of the paper, we want to be able to spot them and correct them. So I swam in the lake, but I walked into the store. So into here expresses motion. We would not say I walked in the store unless you're talking about already being in the store and you're walking around, right? But if you're expressing that you're going into the store, you're entering, we use into. What about this one, guys? Help me out with this one. You ask your mom for a cookie, and she tells you what? Look in the cupboard or look into the cupboard? Beautiful. So look in the cupboard, meaning that the item that you're looking for is located in the cupboard, right? And let's try one more. All right, so you are going somewhere new. She drove in or into the city. Right, she drove into the city. Remember, into expresses motion towards something. Right, guys? So we looked at using have versus of. We looked at in versus into. How are we feeling so far about these two commonly confused things in preposition use? Is anyone having some trouble understanding? Are we okay? Let me know, guys. I'm going to ask you to tell me in the chat. Are we confused or are we okay, and can we move on? All right, beautiful. So we also have some confusion sometimes among these three: in, on, and at. In, on, and at. Okay, so we established that when we use in, it indicates a location. It can also indicate seasons of the year. For example, you can say in summer. You can use in to talk about years and centuries. So it will not say on the year 2020 or at the year 2020. We'll say in 2018 or in the 21st century. We also use it to indicate the months, right? So in May, not on May or at May. And we could also use it for parts of the day. Or time. So in an hour or in 3 weeks. Right, so that is our uses of in. Yes, good job, Sajida. Like in or at Trinidad or at or in the beach. So we'll not say in the beach, right? As Trinis, we love to say I in the beach. I in the beach right now. No, right? We'll say I am at the beach. right? So then we look at on. So we could also use on for these. For example, on Monday and dates. Example, on Christmas Day. We have a lot of other uses and other exceptions to uses as well, guys. But this is a general table that I'm just exposing you guys to. And then we're going to practice them in actual sentences as well, so you get a better feel of it, okay? Oh my gosh, that was a very bent line. I am so sorry. For at, we can talk about clock times. So at 9:30. Yes, you can also use it for places. Right? So I just want to make a distinction, guys. So for location, when we use in, you can refer to perhaps the country, right? So I am in Trinidad. You wouldn't say I am at Trinidad. But if we're looking at specific places, events or venues, things like that, right? At the beach, at school, at the mall, right? So it really depends. I swam in the lake. That tells you the location. It is an enclosed area. So we wouldn't say I swam at the lake because you're already in the lake. We also have meal times. So at lunch, at dinner, right? We could have at bedtime, at night, all of these things, right? So I want us to practice a little bit with using the actual prepositions in, on, and at. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to finish taking down this table or get a screenshot of it, whichever one you are comfortable doing. All right, so can we look at the exercise, guys? Let me know when I can move the page, okay? Just take a couple seconds and take a screenshot. All right, so Sajid is giving me a thumbs up. I'm gonna go ahead and move the page. If you guys need it, at the end of class, I'll show it again, right? Because I want us to practice this. All right, so first question. My brother, that should be brother, goes to work in, on, or at the evening. Which one should we choose? Good job. My brother goes to work in the evening. Right? We remember parts of the day. So in the evening. We're going to a picnic in, on, or at Sunday afternoon. Good job, Caleb and Leanne. We're going to a picnic on Sunday afternoon. Remember, we use on for days. We moved to the city in, on, or at 2012. Good job, Sajida. In 2012, we refer to the year, right? We moved to the city in 2012. And we'll do one more. All right, good job, Sajida. Very quick with the response. Good job, Caleb. What time do you go to bed at night? Right? Remember, we have specific times of the day that we could use for at. So not just at lunch and dinner, but at night, right? We can say in the morning though. So it depends on the expression of time. All right, so one more thing I wanted to tell you guys, try not to use than. So than versus from. So when we are using the adjective different, right? You may come across something like this. So you may come across, you look different than your mother or to your mother. That's not incorrect, but using from is a lot better grammatically. So when you use different and you have a comparison, you want to say you look different from your mother. Is that okay, guys? So when you are using comparisons with that adjective different, try to use from instead of than or to. Got that, guys? All right, so the last activity I want to do with you all, I'm going to put some sentences on my page, and I want you to substitute the preposition used with one that is more appropriate. All right, so can I move this page? Lovely.
Miss, can you give me a few seconds with it?
Okay, sure.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Okay, so what can we substitute that preposition during for? The dog ran during the park. That doesn't make any sense. Good, so we can use in. The dog ran in the park. We could also say through. The dog ran through the park. All right, good. Okay, the tree fell softly until the floor of the forest. Right, softly on. So we take off until, we could say on, or we could even say on to, right? Tree fell softly onto the floor of the forest. What about this one? We made a wish in a star. Right, we made a wish upon a star. And we'll do one more. A vacation took place of the beach. All right, good job, Leanne. Instead of, we're substituting, and we can say at. Good job, Sajida. All right, and that is actually the end of my activity with you guys for our preposition lesson. So we looked at a few commonly made mistakes, right? We also looked at the differences in use between, sorry, not between, but among, in, at, and on. And we practiced a bit with substituting prepositions in sentences.
Did somebody say Among Us?
Right, so when you are referring to three or anything that's more than two, among, right? But if it's just two, you use between. So just a little grammar tip there as well. All right, guys, so before I end class, I just want to ask you all, as you are prepping for the SCA exam right now, is there any particular topic you would like to review in our Wednesday 5:30 session?
Science.
No, Caleb, for SCA English Language Arts. Right? We're focusing on that. Okay, so Sajida says verbs to nouns, adjectives to adverbs, right? Poems. We'll be doing poems tomorrow, actually,
Pronouns.
at 4:45.
Pronouns.
All right.